Adidas Adizero 8.0 Primeknit football cleats versus Adidas Adizero 7.0 Primeknit football cleats. At the beginning of this year, 2019, Adidas updated their Adizero football cleat with the Adizero 8.0. Known as the lightest cleat in football, they also produced a Primeknit version that displayed during the All-American football game early in January. What I have right here is a pair of the Adizero 8.0 Primeknits. I'm going to be comparing them to a pair of the Adizero 7.0 Primeknit football cleats that I reviewed last year and that I have a sample of here. By now, you should be familiar with the Adizero line of football cleats from Adidas. They are known as the lightest cleat in football, and when Adidas made the Adizeros 8 years ago, they definitely were the lightest. Now, they still kept the cleat super light. It has gained a little bit of weight over the years as they've improved the materials, improved the integrity of the materials, the durability, all different types of things. I reviewed the first Adizero cleat way back when, and here I am reviewing the 8th model. Now, this model is a Primeknit version. Last year was the first year they introduced Primeknit into the Adizero football cleat. Now what Primeknit is, it's a super stretchy compression material that is form-fitting to your foot. Now Adidas has also updated their regular Adizero line and made the material a little bit more form-fitting, but in today's video we're going to be taking a closer look at the 8.0. Now we're going to take a closer look at the 8.0 of this year and compare it to the differences in the 7.0. If you take a look at the 7.0, you'll see this very low-cut silhouette. A lot of you mentioned that it looks a lot like a soccer cleat. They use Primeknit throughout the entire cleat in the 7.0s, and they even have some support here over your toes, and they have an overlay, a TPU overlay, to provide some structural rigidity to the cleat itself. Now this is a super thick material, so it's going to be durable. It's also going to be form-fitting. This has some padding in the heel of it, and then you see the mini sock liner here that goes around your ankle. The difference is between the 7.0s and the 8.0s, you'll notice that the 8.0s come up a little bit higher. Try to get them both on camera for you. You'll notice that the 8.0s actually come up a little bit higher on the ankle. If we take a look at these back to back, you'll see it's very clear which cleat is actually higher. You can see just how much, almost an inch higher the 8.0s are than the 7.0s. That's one of the biggest differences is in the heel, which is going to affect the actual fit of the cleat. The heel counter itself is thicker. You can kind of notice that here they have an external heel counter in the cleat. Right here it's going to provide additional support in the heel. They also have a thicker heel counter in the cleat with additional padding, which you guys can kind of see here with all the padding inside of the Adizero. We turn our attention to the bottom of the cleat. The bottom is the same. These are going to be identical throughout both years. It's the same bottom that they use on their Adizero cleat over the years. The other big difference is going to be in the toe of the cleat. Now if you take a look at this, both toes, you can see how low the laces go in the 7.0s. You can see the lacing starts here, and this one starts a little bit higher up, right about here. Now move this so you guys can kind of see the laces, but it starts a little bit higher up on the actual toe of the cleat. Now how does that actually impact the cleat? It does a couple things. One, you're not going to have as much adjustability on the toe side of the cleat. Now these I've already worn, I've tightened up. You can see that there is a little bunching here, which you didn't have in the 7.0 because it did start a little bit lower, so it allowed you to tighten up the cleat. Now with that being said, the toe box is still very comfortable, fits snugly around your foot. They don't have as much of the TPU, so it is going to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more comfortable molding to your foot because the TPU is only on the interior side of the cleat while the exterior still uses that Primeknit throughout the entire cleat. Another one of the big differences with the 8.0 versus 7.0 is just the colorways that are offered. The Primeknit version is offered in 4 different colorways. I'm going to try to cut away and show you guys the 4 different colors, but they have 2 versions of the black colored cleat. This is a black version which has the white Adidas sign, and then it has kind of this iridescent purple that is really showing up in this light here. Now they also have another black version with a black Adidas sign. They've got an all white version for those of you who like that white out look. And then they have an orange version, which they didn't have last year as well. So it's kind of like a Miami themed version here when you see the orange. Now with the 7.0s, those came in 3 colorways. They had the all black colorway, they had the all white colorway, and then they had this colorway for the U.S. Army All-American football game. Now this year, the regular 8.0s are a little bit closer to the Adizero 8.0 Primeknits. Now this video is not on the regular 8.0s. I have a whole separate video on that. Here you can see it in the white colorway. Sorry, the lights are kind of bright. But if you take a look here with this white colorway, you'll notice that it is very similar to the Primeknits. Even from a material standpoint, I wasn't even sure if this is Primeknit. So I'm going to do some research, see what material this is. But you can see that these cuts are very, very similar when you look at both cleats. Now the Primeknits are still going to come up a little bit higher. You can see it here as I put the heels together, but it is very much closer. The traditional 8.0s are going to be very close to the model of the Primeknit 8.0 football cleats. Before I get into any more detail, let's take a look at how this cleat looks on foot. Overall, I love the look of this cleat on foot. I love that it sits a little bit higher up on the ankle, and these are super, super comfortable. From a fit perspective, they do fit true to size, and it does really mold to your foot. I love the thickness of this Primeknit and how it compresses your foot. From a durability standpoint, you're going to get that same durability of last year with the Primeknit, which is a good thing. Really like the Primeknit on here. Like I said, this yarn that they have is super durable. So when you're playing in a variety of materials, you're playing on grass, you're playing in the mud, you're playing in rain, you're playing in snow, you're playing on turf, you're going to have that comfort, you're going to have that durability. Now the one thing is, when these get wet, it is going to be a little bit different than your traditional cleats. I'm not sure about the 8.0, so I'm going to have to test that out, but you are going to feel some of that moisture soak through. So you might not want to wear these in some of those wetter conditions. With the increased size, with the 8.0s and it going a little bit higher up, I would expect these to weigh a little bit more. So let's put these on the scale and see just how much, if any, difference between the 8.0s and the 7.0s. You can see here as I put these 7.0s on the scale, they're coming in at just about 10.3 ounces. Now let's take a look at the 8.0s. We put those on the scale and those are coming in at 11.15 ounces or so. That's about a full ounce higher than these 7.0s. So you can see that this cleat is a little bit heavier, but you're really not going to notice that difference on your feet. You know, you have less than 1 ounce difference between the 7.0s and the 8.0s. Last thing I'll cover off for you guys is on the price of this cleat. Now this maintains the same pricing as the 7.0 football cleats. They come in at $150. Now there's a $30 premium over the traditional 8.0 Adizero football cleats. So those are $120, same as last year, and the Primeknits are $150. Now if you're lucky, if you like the Primeknit football cleats, you like this review, definitely encourage you to check out my review of the Adizero 7.0 Primeknits. They are on sale on the Adidas website right now for $75. That is a bargain. You're going to love those cleats for $75. It's going to be one of the best cleats you can get at that price range. So definitely check the Adidas website before they run out and consider getting these Primeknits. If you have these cleats already, I would love to hear what you think about them in the comments. And as always, I love your guys' feedback. Definitely low in the comments below. Let me know on my Instagram. If you like this video, remember to give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.